أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. So we will continue from the place where we left last time. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was commanded to give the message of Islam, the message of oneness of Allah to his people. And he came out and he called the people and he said, come back to the oneness of Allah. There is no deity to worship except Allah. You have to worship only and only Allah. And he called them, he reminded them about the punishment if you don't do that. And what happened after that? We'll continue from there. So what happened is the people of Makkah, the Quraysh, majority of them, almost all of them, opposed the message. And they opposed the message in various ways. They first tried to do an emotional blackmail to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. They reached out to the leader of his tribe, who was Abu Talib. They reached out to Abu Talib and they said that you have to stop Muhammad, who was the nephew of Abu Talib. He said you have to make sure that your nephew stop preaching the message. And if you're not able to do that, then give Muhammad to us and we will take care of him. Because they can't physically harm Prophet Muhammad ﷺ at that time because he was protected by his tribe, by his tribal leader, who was Abu Talib. So they were pressurizing Abu Talib to intervene and to stop Prophet Muhammad ﷺ preaching the message. Abu Talib, after getting too much of emotional blackmail, talked to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He said, yeah, my nephew, who actually, he was his nephew, but he was being raised by Abu Talib after the death of Abdullah, the father of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was being raised under the care of Abu Talib. So Abu Talib told Muhammad ﷺ, or requested him, spare me and yourself, and put not burden on me that I can't bear. Muhammad ﷺ replied, my uncle, if they were to put the sun in my right hand and the moon in my left to stop me from preaching Islam, I would never stop. I will keep on preaching until Allah makes Islam prevail or I die. He said to his uncle that, there is no way I can stop this message. This is not I'm doing of my own will. I have been commanded to do this. So there is no way I can stop it. When Abu Talib saw that he saw his commitment, he saw what his nephew is saying, he said that go and preach what you please, for by God I will never forsake you. So Abu Talib decided to support his nephew. Abu Talib did not accept the religion of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, but at that point he decided that he will not interfere. He will let his nephew preach the message and he will try to support him in that effort. So this is one of the ways that the Islamophobes of that time, at the time of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, used to counter the message or to stop the message of Islam to be preached or practiced or spread. Now, I will go through 11 different ways that the Islamophobes of that time tried to stop the message of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. But all of those 11 messages, almost all of them, are still prevalent in today's world. In today's world, the Islamophobes of today's world used almost all of the same methods to stop the practice, preaching, or spread of Islam. So number one was emotional blackmail. Do they still use it? The Islamophobes of today's time use this method? Yes, they do. Number two ways that the Islamophobes of the time of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ tried to stop the message was to prevent his prophetic message to be even practiced. So they banned the public recitation of Quran. Anyone who recite the Quran publicly was harmed, including Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He cannot recite the Quran in public. Every time, either they are harmed, or if they can't harm that person, because that person is being protected by his tribal leaders, or by his or her tribe, then they used to make difficult for that person to recite the Quran. For example, if Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is reciting, they will make noises and shouts, and they try to put his message or put his reading of the Quran down so that nobody can hear him, or it becomes difficult for him to even recite. They prevented Muslims to offer the prayer in public. They prevented Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to give the message to the pilgrims who used to come for Umrah or Hajj in Mecca, to an extent that his own uncle, the uncle of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, another uncle, not Abu Talib, but Abu Lahab, he used to shadow his nephew, and every time Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam called somebody towards the oneness of Allah, his uncle used to say from behind, "Don't listen to my nephew. I know him. He is lying, or he has gone astray, or he is this and that. I know him, his uncle, so don't listen to him." So are the Islamophobes of present time use the same method? Yes. And still we find in today, living in 2020, we find people or countries or governments stopping Muslims to practice their own religion, like they cannot wear the hijab, they cannot give the adhan, they cannot keep the beard, they cannot have the mosque, they cannot have so and so, right? They still do the similar approach. Number 3 way that the Islamophobes of that time tried to stop the message of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was to ridicule the Muslims of that time. They used to make fun of the Muslims. They used to laugh on them. They used to wink each other. They used to call the Muslims as fool. The women, even the women of the on the Islamophobe side, they used to call Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as the shaitan, or the shaitan comes on him, and shaitan is misguiding Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Is this method still used? Yes, still this method is being used. We Muslims in present time are being called as various names. People make fun of it when we are doing a wudu, or when we are praying in public. People make fun of the Muslims. They make fun of the people wearing the hijab, calling them towel head or whatnot, right? And they wink each other. Or if somebody is saying, I in my religion, I can't drink. Drinking is prohibited. His friends, his colleagues make fun of him or her. So this method is still being used. Number 4th method that they use, the Islamophobes at that time, to stop the message of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was to invent lies against Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, to slander Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They called him by various names, like he's a crazy man, he's a madman, he's a magician, he is a fortune teller, he's a poet, he's possessed by jinn, he is deluded to think he's a prophet, but he's not, right? Various kind of lies they invented against Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, just like in present time. In present time, the Islamophobes use the similar lies. They call all Muslims as terrorists. They call Muslims, various kind of lies they spread in present times as well. Number 5 way that Islamophobes of that time try to stop the message of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was using the propaganda against Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Based on the lies, they spread the lies. They said he mesmerized people, and the Quran is an ancient tale. It is of he has just got this tale from his previous people or previous ancestors, or he's creating the Quran. That's not the lie. That the Quran is not a revelation coming from Allah. He himself is creating. Although they knew at that time also, all of them knew that Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam cannot read and write. How can he can create the Quran, something like Quran, such an eloquent thing, right? So, but they invented lie and started spreading lie against against Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Just like in today's world, people still create lie and then they propagate and use the propaganda to harm Muslims. We, as of today, I'm talking about, there are people in India. They are spreading this propaganda that Muslims are the one who's spreading COVID-19. Can you imagine that? And people are believing on those individuals who are spreading this message to Twitter or Facebook or WhatsApp, whatnot, that Muslims are the one who's spreading the COVID-19 virus. There is no link at all with Muslims and the disease. Disease is spread in a place where not even single Muslim probably be there, and spreading all over the world. But Muslims' names are being, added as a lie and being propagated with that, so that people start hating Muslims. Number sixth way that the Islamophobes at that time tried to stop the message of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam by coming to him and saying that, let's do a compromise. Let's do this. We worship your God, your Allah, for part of the time. First they said half a day, and you worship our gods, our idols, half a day. Or Prophet refused it. And they came to the point that, okay, forget about that. You just worship our gods by half an hour or 1 hour, and we'll worship your God for remaining of the hours. Prophet Muhammad obviously refused that. And that is the time the Surah Kafirun was revealed, where Allah says, I worship not, tell them that you worship not which you worship, nor will you worship that which I worship, and I shall not worship that which you are worshipping, nor will you worship that which I am worshipping. To be your religion, and to me my religion, right? I'm not forcing you to worship my religion, my God. I'm not going to compromise with you. I have my religion. I know my religion is truth, and I'm to worship that. If you want to worship, come and worship with me. If you don't want to worship, be with it. Number seventh way that the Islamophobes at that time tried to stop the message was bribery and negotiate. They came to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and they said, we will offer you money. Don't preach this message. We'll give you whatever money you want. What money you want? Give us the code, and we'll give you that money. But don't preach this message. Or they came to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and said, do you want power? We'll give you the power. But don't spread this message. Don't preach this message. Don't practice this religion. You want women? We will give you the women as well. Or if you are sick and you want to see a doctor, we'll get you a best doctor. But don't preach this message. And of course, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam refused on all of them. The eighth way they tried to stop the message was by challenging him. They challenged Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that if you are a prophet, if you're really a prophet, then show us the miracle. If you are a prophet and you want us to believe in you, then break open this ground with a spring of water, or have a garden of palm trees and grapes with rivers flowing through it in abundance in Mecca. And if you do that, we will believe on you. Or if you make the heaven fall open in fragments as you have claimed, or you bring Allah and the angels before us, show us, and then we will believe on you. Show us the miracles. Or you have a house of gold, or you ascend into a sky, then we will consider you and we start believing on you. Did Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam showed miracles? And if yes, did they believe? Yes, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam showed miracle. He split the moon into half right in front of them. But did they believe? No, they did not believe. They said, he's a magician. He bewitched our eyes. Allah could have shown them many miracles, but Quran itself was a miracle. Quran was coming to them. The revelation was coming to them. Every verse of the Quran was so eloquent. There was so many miracles that you can find within the Quran. It was a living miracle in front of them, but they refused to believe on him. Would Allah have shown the other miracles, like the miracles Jesus has or the miracle Moses have? Yes. But Allah is way above these petty things. Okay. Allah did show the sign, it shows the miracle, they did not believe. And even if Allah have shown other signs as well, they would not have believed. Just like people didn't believe on Jesus and Moses after the miracles. They would have still said the same thing, he's a magician, right? There's a narration of Sa'ad ibn Jubair radiallahu anhu. He said the idolaters or the idol worshippers said, "O Muhammad, if you want us to believe in you, ask your Lord to turn As-Safa into a gold." Al-Safa is a mountain, right? Turn this mountain into a gold for us. Allah conveyed to Prophet Muhammad through a wahi or inspiration, "I have heard what they have said. If you wish, I will do that." What they say. And this is Allah saying to Prophet Muhammad, "But once my sign is sent to them, then there is no room for speculation. Then they have to surely believe on it, believe on the message. Once I turn this mountain into gold in front of them, if they then refuse to believe, then I have no patience. They will going to go with a severe punishment if they didn't believe." And Prophet Muhammad said, "Ya Allah, give them more time." Because he knew that these people will not believe. So Prophet Muhammad requested more time to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than to show them the miracle and punish them. The number 9th way they try to stop the message is to prove that he is not a prophet. If not by the miracles, by other means, like what? They themselves has forgotten about the Ibrahim alayhi salam or Prophet Ibrahim legacy, right? They went to Medina. They knew in Medina there are Jews living. Those Jews were living and they were waiting for Prophet as well. They went to the Medina and they asked the Jews, they said that in your religion of Judaism, you have prophets. And this man, Muhammad, is claiming himself to be a prophet. How can we prove that person is not a prophet? Jews said, "Go ask him who was Jacob, or ask about the family of Jacob." They came back and they asked Prophet Muhammad about the family of Jacob. Prophet Muhammad told them, Allah revealed the whole story of Jacob or Yaqub, the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, that the whole surah was revealed in one place from beginning to end, narrating the whole story. And it is in Quran called Surah, under the chapter Surah Yusuf. And they got that. They went back to the Jews, and Jews said, "Yes, this story is right." They said, "Maybe he have heard this story from somewhere else. Go ask the 3 other questions." So these are the 3 questions they ask the people of Quraysh and Islamophobes at that time. Go ask these questions. Were number 1, ask him who were the people of cave. Number 2, ask him who was the one who traveled from east to west. And number 3, ask, and it was a trick question, ask, what does he know about the soul? What is soul? And these people came to Prophet Muhammad and they asked these 3 questions to Prophet Muhammad, and Prophet Muhammad told them, "I will tell you about them tomorrow." He did not say, "Inshallah, if the Allah wish." He knew the revelation will come, Allah will tell him, so will be all fine. Allah wants to teach through him to us the lesson that everything happens with the will of Allah. No revelation came to Prophet Muhammad. For a few days actually passed into weeks, and the people start making fun of him. "Hey, you claim yourself a prophet, but you don't have the answer for that." Prophet Muhammad waited for the revelation. Finally, the revelation came to him, and the revelation was Surah Kahf. In Surah Kahf, Allah mentioned the story of people of cave and mentioned the story of Zulkarnain, the person who traveled from east to west, and the story of Gog and Magog, Yajuj and Majuj. And they went back to the Jews, and Jews said, "Yes, you have." And Allah also mentioned about soul, or Prophet Muhammad told them about the soul, what soul is, and how much we know about the soul and how much we don't. They went back to the Jews, and the Jews were surprised. And some of the Jews believed through that. Some of them did not. I'll talk about it as we go further in the story. Number 10th way they try to stop the message is to boycotting the Muslims. They boycotted the Muslims. They said, "No more dealings, no more transactions with the Muslim. We will not marry our daughters or sons with the Muslims. We will not give them, we will not socialize with them. We will not give them, any kind of help." So they did a social, political, financial boycott. Is this technique still used? Yes, this technique is still used in the world. It's still the Islamophobes of the present time does that. Very recently, and again, I'm taking an example of India because this is happening very recently in India, but the other part of the world is also happening in India. They, there were Islamophobes who are boycotting Muslims, and they're saying we are not going to rent our any apartment or any houses to Muslims. We are not going to buy or sell even vegetables to the Muslims. They're doing the boycott. So this is still happening. These methods are still being used in present time. And number 11, and there's the last method I'm going to talk about that the Islamophobes at that time used, was the torture and prosecution, and that was the most severe one of them. They did the severe torture on those that could not protect themselves, like who? The poor people and the slaves of that time. Bilal, who was a slave of Umayyah ibn Khalaf, prosecuted Bilal severely. Abdullah ibn Masud was severely tortured. Yasir, him and his family, his wife was severely tortured. Suhaib, Miqdad, these were the ones who were being tortured because they have no protection. And those who have protection, like Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Abu Bakr, they were also prosecuted physically as well, but not that severe as these were, right? The main culprits who were doing that were Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl was the worst of them. He actually abused everyone, noble, businessmen, slaves. He abused everyone. He was like the Pharaoh or the Pharaoh of the time of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Umayyah ibn Khalaf was other one. He tortured Bilal so much, and they were being tortured in various ways. And I'll talk about the ways in a few minutes. But Umayyah ibn Khalaf was another big main culprit. Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayt was another major culprit. Abu Lahab, the uncle of Prophet Muhammad was another culprit. These were the four big ones who were prosecuting Muslims physically. And the physical prosecution we'll talk about in a minute is still happening in today's world as well. And I will talk about it. The physical torture prosecution was so severe that the companions later on says that, we can't even sit in the pain. There was so much pain that we used to get with these punishments of tortures that we can't even get up. This is what Abdullah ibn Abbas narrated for the companions who were physically tortured. So how they were tortured physically? They were starved. They were beaten, severely beaten. They were burned. Like, for example, Khabbab ibn Arad. He was a slave of a woman she was a ironsmith. So when his master came to know about that, this woman, she tortured Khabbab ibn Arad. She prosecuted Khabbab ibn Arad. She put the burning metal on his back, on Khabbab's back, to renounce the religion of Islam. And Khabbab ibn Arad did not do that. His all back was burned to an extent that way later on, when Islam prevailed, and the Islam prevailed over Arabia, the Umar radiallahu anhu asked Khabbab ibn Arad, tell me how the people used to torture, your master used to torture you. And Khabbab ibn Arad just lifted his shirt and showed the back to Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. And Umar ibn Khattab said to Khabbab ibn Arad and to other companions, I have never seen a back like that, so severely burned. Bilal was being put on the very hot day of the summer of the desert. He put on the middle of on the open ground in a heat, in the sun heat, and an iron and a rock is being placed on his chest. And it used to get burned so much, it becomes so hot that the skin underneath the Bilal, on Bilal's chest used to get burned. And the companion said it was so hot, those iron and rock on his chest was so hot that if you put an egg on it, the egg will get fried. So this is how he was being tortured, and he did not budge from his place, and he keeps saying, Ahadun, Ahadun, I believe in only oneness of Allah. I will not change my religion. Yasir's family was tortured so much that Yasir was killed. His wife was killed. His wife, Yasir's wife, Sumayya, was the first martyr in Islam, in religion of, in Muslim. She was the first martyr. She got that designation. And Yasir, son Ammar, he could not see his father being killed, his mother being killed. They came to him and he said, you say that there is no God, or say that this idol is a God, and he will let you go. He could not take it, what they were asking him to say, and he said what they wanted to say. And then he realized, he ran back to Prophet Muhammad and said, I made the mistake. I told them, I said verbally this message that this idol Lat or Uzza is the God. Had I made the mistake? Has I renounced my religion? Prophet Muhammad said, don't worry, because when people are compelling you to say something, you can say whatever you want to say. Allah knows what is in your heart. Musab ibn Umair, another companion, his mother turned him out of his house. His mother, he was from a rich family, but when the mother came to know that he had accepted Islam, mother said to Musab, either you renounce your religion, this new religion, or you're out of my family. I will not support you at all. And in just one day, Musab ibn Umair become from the richest of the person to the poorest of the person. Usman ibn Affan was not even spared. His uncle actually used to wrap him in a carpet and used to trash him, beat him. This is how they were prosecuted. What about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And this prosecution is still going on in today's world. Again, taking example of India, people are being burned, or people are being mob lynched just because they are Muslim. People just make fake allegations against the Muslim, and they just mob lynch them. They kill them. So many incidents has happened. It's still happening in the world. Can you believe in the 2020? How was the torture on Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He himself went through numerous types of prosecutions and tortures. First was the emotional torture. He becomes, helpless when he saw his followers are being tortured and prosecuted. And we'll talk about, for the sake of time, we have to stop here. We'll talk about his prosecution and torture in the next session, how he coped with it and how much he has to go through. But for now, we'll end here. I want to just remind you all that please come and support the Launch Good at the Guidance College at Launch Good. Please give your donations at Launch Good to Guidance College. These donations goes for a very great cause. They goes with the cause of educating people, making people easy to seek the knowledge, the divine knowledge, and the other knowledge, secular knowledge as well, to make it easy for them to get that knowledge. Either these donations will go to pay the tuition reimbursement or scholarship for the students, or they will go to make the learning process easy and efficient for them. Also, I want to remind you that this Saturday at 6:30, we are having an online fundraising for Guidance College. Please do all your effort to come and support, to join in this online fundraising and support Guidance College through your donations, through taking or registering for courses. Ameen. May Allah make it easy for all of you. May Allah bless you all in this month of Ramadan. May Allah make us one of those who follow the teachings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and raised on the day of judgment along with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah accept our ibadas, our fast, our good deeds in this month, in this blessed month of Ramadan. May Allah make us one of those who become successful in this world and hereafter in following and preaching and be the followers of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the one who will be dear to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.